function is a rule that takes an input. Come on, you'll write. X and gives only one output, Y. So basically, what I mean is that each X gives one Y. All right. So for example, if f of x, read f of x is equal to 2x plus 3, right? And I ask you to find f of 2, right? It means here that the value of x is 2. You input 2 into that rule there, which is 2x plus 3, and you will get your output. Everybody with me? So if I wanted to find f of 2, this will be equal to 2 by 2 plus 3. Multiplication is understood between this 2 and this 3, right? Sorry, this 2 and this x. Is everybody clear there? 2 2s are 4 plus 3 would be, so 7 is my output. Everybody clear there? 7 is actually Y. Y. Is everybody clear here? Asking it again. Is everybody clear? This is the simplest part of functions here, right? Okay? You input 2 into the rule and you get 7 as your output, right? So that's a little point to note. Y is equal to f of x, right? And we must remember it is read as, so I could put Y equals f of x. That's how it's read, right? Is that right? Right. F of x. Right. So your domain would be your x values. Okay? And your range would be your, what do you think? Y values. Okay? So some common functions. We have a linear function, right? Linear function, which is like something to do with just one value of x. You know this? All right. So you have a linear function, which is like, if you look at the length of a straight line, y is equal to mx plus c. That's a linear function, right? Okay, like if you have like x, y is equal to x over 2 linear functions, meaning the power of x is just 1. And then you will have the famous quadratic function, which is y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. Everybody good there? Quadratic function. So we'll just do this one here, and then we have the composite function, but I'll write the note lower down, right? This is a CXC type question, right? Now, functions could be any letter, right? It could be g of x, it could be x of, f of x, it could be h of x, etc. Right? But the three main letters they use would be f, g, and h. Okay? So, we have two functions. We say that the first function, f of x, is defined by 6x plus e. That is what f of x is. Everybody see that? What is g of x defined by? What is g of x equal to? Huh? No. What is g of x defined by? I just said f of x is defined by 6x plus
X
e, right?
subtract 2 over 3.
Excellent, Jenny. X minus 2 over 3. That's the definition of g of x, right? Now, the question asks us to calculate g of, what is my input here, my children? We just talked input and output. What is the
2.
input for this question?
2.
So when I ask you to calculate the value of g of 2, it means that I want the output, right? So let's work. This will be equal to, so instead of x, what is the definition of g of x again? What is g of x defined by? X minus 2. But I am going to input 2, right? So instead of putting x, I'm going to put 2 minus 2 over 2 minus 2 is 0 divided by 3 is
0.
So this is what g of 2 is. Come around, man. I want to ask you all to find f of 3. Let me hear you all. F of 3. What is the input for this question? If I ask you to find f of 3. What's the input? 3. Everybody good there? What is the definition of f of x? So instead of putting x, what do I put? Proper. Plus 6 3s are 18 plus 8 is. So this is f of 3. Everybody good there? Write it down. Right? So that's like our extra question. Like for example. Okay, write it down. So they ask us to write an expression for g f of x in simplest form, right? So we're going to look at, before we solve the question, we're going to look at the composite function. Right? So a composite function is when one functions, right? One function's output becomes another function's input. So you are basically joining two functions. Everybody good there? We join in two functions, right? So it is written as if I have f, g, and x like this, it simply means, or I could put it read as f of g of x, right? F g of x. Okay, composite function. So to calculate the composite function, g of x, if you want to put goes into f of x. So basically, note, second function into the first. Second into the first. Well, I want to give you all some steps for finding the composite function. My first step would always be to write down the two functions, right? Who can remember what f of x was? 6x plus 8. And the second function, x minus, right? So this is always going to be my first step, write down the two functions, right? So they want us to find this question, which is part 2. Let me put part 2. This is where part 2 starts, right? Okay. They want us to find g f of x. Order matters, right? Order matters. So you want to find g f of x. Which is the first and which is the second function in order there? Which is written first? Which letter is written first? G. Which letter is second? So you put the second function into the first, right? Let me show you all what this means, right? So g of x is actually going to be x minus 2 over 3. But what is f of x? And f of x is this whole thing here? Huh? So this whole f of x, the second function, which is the second function, goes into the first, which is g of x. So this takes the place of x here. Everybody clear? So watch it. Instead of putting x minus 2, I'm going to put 6x plus 8 minus 2 all over 3. Everybody good there? Talk to me. Who doesn't understand? I'm trying to make this as clear as I could. Everybody good there? Right. G f of x, right? I'm going to put a little first on top here. This is your first function. This is your second function. Cool? So you put in f of x in, no, we don't have g of x written there, but it's understood, right? So you put in f of x into g of x. Okay? Second function into the first. So what I circle here, which is 6x plus 8, takes the place of x in g of x. Cool? So watch it. You can drop the brackets here because there's nothing in front to multiply into the brackets. So that's be 6x plus 8 minus 2 all over 3. All right? Which will be 6x plus 6 all over 3. This could actually simplify further. What can I do with that 3? Right? But you divide it by what? And you're dividing it by? Everybody good here? That 3 needs to be divided by both terms above there, right? So there you go. 2x plus 6 into 3 is 2. So this here would be g f of x. Now I have a little sub question I want you all to do here, right? You do it right on your side here, right? I want you all to find fg of x, right? So this is like an example, okay? So we copying down the first one, and then I want you all to find fg of x. Find it. Right. So for this part here, let's run it over for the sake of the recording. I want to find fg of x, right? Now, second function here is g of x. You want to put it into the first function, which is f. So g of x is x minus 2 over 3. This takes the place of... Everybody good there? So let's work. Watch it. That composure is everything here. This will be equal to 6 by x minus 2 over 3, close bracket, plus 8. Everybody good there? Okay. So watch it there. I should draw a line in the middle here now. The whole thing to think this is the same question. All right. So watch it there. This, what you could actually do here, this is like 6 multiplied by this, so then you could actually say 3 into 6. 3 into 6 is 2. So this will be 2 by x minus 2 plus 8. So why do we this 2 in front here? What am I multiplying that 2 by? 2 multiplied by x alone, and 2 multiplied by negative 2, right? So this will be equal to 2x minus 4 plus 8. It's equal to 2x. Negative 4 plus 8 is what, right? Positive 4. So this here would actually be fg of x. F negative 1. So let's write the note, please. All right, so inverse and inverse does the opposite of the original function. All right. So basically, it reverses the input and output. All right. Okay? So it's like if f of x takes you from x to y, then f negative 1 of x, which is the inverse of f of x, takes you from y to x. All right? I think I was just supposed to the note. Right, so the inverse function, and inverse function does the opposite of the original function, right? It reverses the input and output. If f of x takes you from x to y, then f negative 1 of x takes you from y to x, right? So the inverse of f of x is f negative 1 of x, right? Steps to find inverse. Step 1. We're gonna write original function. Write original function, right? Step 2. So here it is. Put f negative 1 of xf because it basically, this is what we're trying to find, right? So we're going f of x. So you're going to replace f of x with x, and then replace x in the function rule or function definition, whatever I want to carry it, call it. I think I'll put right, replace x in the function rule with with y. Okay. Step 3. So you want to make y the subject. Make y the subject. And then the last step, you're gonna replace y with inverse f negative 1 of x. Everybody good there? So we are trying to find f negative 1 of x. So that means we're working with f of x. We're not working with g of x, right? So let's work with f of x. So what's the original function? F of x is equal to? Everybody good there? Step 2. Levi, you understanding? Huh? Replacing f of x with what? And you're replacing x in the rule with who's lost so far? Online, anybody lost? Everybody good here, right? So that's step 2. We don't put on our 2 steps there already. What's the next step? Make y the subject. So if you want to make y the subject, what's the first thing we fling in on the left?
The 8.
Like fling the 8 there. So instead of adding 8, what do we do?
Subtract.
And then you have 6y. What do we do with the 6y? What do we do with the 6? Not the 6y. What do we do with the 6?
Carry it over.
Excellent. This is x minus 8 divided by 6 is equal to y. What's the last step here, guys? Replace y with, right. Look how easy I find my inverse now, right? That's my inverse there, no? Online. Pause. The functions f and g are defined as f of x is equal to 2x minus 5 and g of x is equal to x squared plus 3. Right? Watch me. I want to find f of 4. So Cristiano, what's my input here, boy? When I use the word input, what's the input here? If I want to find f of 4, what's the input? The input number. No, it's the 4. The 4 is the input, right? So that 4 now, we want to input it into, well, you want to input it into f of x, right? So this will become 2 by 4 minus 5. Everybody good there? 4 2s are?
8.
8 minus 5 is?
4. With 3.
Yeah, 3. Doctor, man. Cristiano, you understand what I do here, bro? You gotta talk to me. I put 4 in place of x here. So instead of putting 2x, I put 2 by 4 minus 5. 4 2s are 8. 8 minus 5 is 3. Everybody good there? Right. So watch it now. Composite function is the second part. I have g f of 4. So I basically want to put f of 4 into g of x, right? So f of 4 is like the second and g of x is the first. Remember, second into the first. But what's something? This g f of 4 could actually be written as g of 3 because f of 4 is 3. So watch it here, Cristiano. I want to find g of 3 now. What's the input here, Cristiano? If I want to find g of 3, what's the input? 3. That's the input number. So you go up to g of x. Instead of putting x here, what I put in Ramo? Instead of putting x, what do I put? 3. So there we go. This will be equal to 3. Wait. This will be, instead of x squared plus 3, it's going to be 3 squared plus 3. 3 3s are 9 plus 3 is? So g f of 4 is equal to 12. Proper thing.
Take it up a little, please.
Sure. I want to write this a little better too. You ready good there? Pause. Right. So we're going to find the inverse function. First thing, write down the people original function me have. Right? Replace f of x with. Step 2, replace f of x with. And then you're replacing the x in the function rule with. Let's go. Let's see how bad I am. I'm watching here and I'm writing. Right. What's the next step? No, bring over. Tell me the next step. Make y the subject. Now you can say bring over. Bring over what, Brother Christian? -5 becomes dog food. Hey boy, I feel so alive, boy. Teaching, eh? There we go. What do with that 2? Divide 2 by everything that is on that side. So it would be x plus 5 divided by 2 is equal to, last step, my children. What's the last step? X plus 5 over 2 is equal to, what to do again to make that easier, boy? That first one and that, it was paused. All right, we just run back through this. F of -2, I replace the -2 into f of x. So instead of putting x, I'm going to put -2, right? Worked it out, I got -9. Now my hint for part 2 is to find f of 1 first, right? Find f of 1 first. Work out that first, then what get? Whatever this is equal to, put it into G, right? But they need to work out this first. Work out this first, Ramon. Work out that first, right? Composure, compose all yourself. Deep breath. Right, there you go. F of 1, Ramon. And this is as 2 by 1 minus 5. And dog food. 2 by 1 is 2. 2 minus 5 is -3. Everybody good there? So I'm going to put -3 now into g of x. Right? Let's go. So what should I going to put? I'm going to put this line here because this is basically what it means, right? They want us to find g f of 1. Stay with me. But this actually means g, watch it, g of -3. -22 again? Perfect. Right? Everybody good there? All I want to find is g of -3 now. That's all. Right? Let's work. Isaiah Edwards and his senior putting thumbs up. That's what we're talking about. So let me go. I can't remember what g of x is. Right. X squared minus 31. So this will be equal to x squared. So instead of x, we're going to put -3 squared minus 31. -3 squared is -3 multiplied by -3, which will give me +9. +9 minus 31 will give me -22. We have a winner. See that again? Jump to 22. I just put that for the people who need to see it. All right? Everybody good here? So this is g f of 1. G f of 1. Cool? Proper thing. Up the hints. Hint, find f -1 of x first. All I have all the steps. Let's work. Right. Find f of x first. What's step 1? Come on, what's step 1? Write the people original function. F of x is equal to step 2. and replace. Right, we do that. Next step. No, not next step, same step. Replace f of x with x, then right, everybody good there? This question similar to the question we did before. Yeah. So we know this 5. Spell that there. Here it is. I want to start to show you all things. This could just be one step. You pell that there first and then you pell this there. And you jump straight into x plus 5 over 2. Right? In one step. Because a lot of people keep asking me, like, so we had to put all them steps. It have steps they could miss out. But I put it for the student who might be like, what the hell this man do there, boy? So for the people who like that, they could at least see, the step in between us. Where I move the 5 first, and then I move the 2. Ramon, you understand why I do that? Yes. Right? I carry the 5 first, then I carry the 2. Cool? So, last step, which is a mandatory step. You must replace that y with f negative 1 of x. Everybody good there? Now, the question proceeded to say or ask to find f.
A little bit, please.
Say that again?
You can scroll up a little bit when they finish.
Yeah, right. When I finish, I'll scroll up, right? F negative 1 of 3. So what do you think my input is here, guys? My input is 3. So let's go. Instead of x, I'm putting 3 plus 5 over 2. 3 plus 5 is 8 divided by 2 is 4. Let's go. Let's go. Talk to me here, Christiana. You understand? Crystal clear? Compose yourself, guys. Compose yourself. I'm sending this down because we'll do the second, right? Let me send this down. Right, there we go. We're dealing with part 1, the first part. So composure G of negative a half is equal to its x squared. That's the definition of G of x, right? So what's my input here? What's my input? Negative a half. So it'll be negative a half to the power of 2, right? So wherever you see x, you're replacing it with negative a half. Negative a half to the power of 2, let me write it here. Negative a half to the power of 2 is actually negative a half multiplied by negative a half. First things first, a negative by a negative is a positive. And then a half multiplied by a half would be 1/4. Everybody good there? That's all G of negative a half works out to be. Talk to me. Everybody good there? So we want to put this, what we just found. This is the second, and this is the first. So we want to put this quarter into the first, right? So we go in. Can I send this down some more? Right. So this is going to be equal to, I'm rewriting it as, I put in the first function, which is f, and I just worked out the second function to be a quarter. Talking shippiness lever or talking cents? Right, there we go. So I want to put a quarter into f now. What is the input now? The input is 1/4. So I'm putting that into f, but f is that hard thing above there. So we go in. So it'll be 3 over 2 by what? What am I replacing next with? Everybody good there? Replacing x with a quarter plus what? 1. So let us work out the denominator here first, please. So it'll be 3 over what? Right? 2 by a quarter is what? A half, and a half plus 1 is A half plus 1 is 1.5 or 3 over 2, right? However you want to write it. So it's 3 over 2. Okay? So punch it on your calculator. 3 divided by 3 over 2 and tell me what you get in. I believe you're supposed to get 2. 3 divided by 3 over 2. Proper. Well, you see how easy this thing is, right? Y'all see how easy this thing is, right? Good taught. Chelsea, compose yourself, do what you were taught, right? Let's go. First step. What's step 1? Write the people function. What is 3 over what? 2x plus 1. What's step 2? Shunala, what's step 2? Huh? Check step 2. Replace f of x with, right. And then what's the next step? What's the next step? Anybody? Replace x with y, right? There we go. Yeah? What? Right there. Real close. You gotta go there and meet your parent? Okay. Now they close. If they need gas station, they close. There you go. It'll be this over 2y plus 1. Now, what's the next step? What's the next step?
Make an y the subject.
Right. We're going to make y the subject. Thank you very much, right? So we go in. Here, what's the first step? You cannot make y the subject of the formula, or the subject of the equation, when it is in the denominator position. You also cannot move the y alone. You have to move this entire thing. So you're carrying this here, right? And you could bring this x here one time, but I want to show you all the step in between. If I divide 2y plus 1 on the right, what do I do with it when I carry it to the left?
Multiply.
Excellent. Multiply. So this will be equal to what remains on the right, by the way, when I move that? Yeah, good. What remains on the right? When I move 2y, no, the 3. Everybody good there? Right. Now I want to make y the subject. So it's like that x is holding the 2y plus 1 captive in that bracket. So you have to move the x before you could flex anything in that bracket, right? So when I carry x here, I do the opposite of multiply, which is 2. I can also drop my brackets at this point now. So this will be equal to 3 divided by x. Everybody with me? I want to make y the subject. What I have to fling on the next side now?
1.
1. When 1 goes here, what do we do with it?
Subtract.
We subtract. So 2y. Why I get x on? 2y is equal to 3 over x minus 1. Y is equal to 3 over x minus 1. What do I do with the 2 when I carry it there, guys?
Divide.
Divide. So it's going to be that all over 2. Last step. Now. Replace y with what? Inverse. So it's f, right? F negative 1 of x is equal to 3 over x minus 1 all over those. All right? And that is all they asked us to find here. All right? For homework, right? That's what I will go up for you all to do, right? For homework, I'm not giving you all too much because that's something that a little difficult at the base, right? So you're doing this, all right? Y'all could try 7. All right? I would not give you all 8, 9. What we have? We have plenty underneath here, boy. Yeah, we have some serious work to do next day. Today was just like the basics. Y'all could do 16 homework. This one simple. 16, 17 also. So I've shown you all there because I don't want nobody to come and say, sir, I didn't see that down there. 17, 18. Try it. All right. Huh? You what? Yeah, yeah. Well,